Good afternoon, Henley. We're talking to you today about assumptions and something else, National Storytelling Week. Now, those two might not go hand in hand, but hopefully you'll see the link later. Ms Robbins and myself are here to talk to you about assumptions first off. And being the word nerds that we are, we love to look up words in a dictionary. And that will mean that we won't assume that we know what they mean, because when I thought about assumptions, I felt it was about a belief or something that we take for granted. And it's a little bit more than that. It's a thing that is accepted as true or is certain to happen without proof. And I think that end clause is really important, without proof. When we don't have proof, we're relying on maybe intuition, opinion, or things other people have told us. And that can be really damaging, certainly when we're making assumptions about people, maybe based on other people's beliefs or things we haven't seen proved to be true, maybe about their race, their gender, their age, their sexuality, those things. So assumptions can be fairly damaging, but it's not all bad news. Assumptions also can be really helpful. They act as a shortcut to the brain. We make assumptions all the time without knowing it, and they can really help us with decision making. So, should we get ourselves in a terrible situation, we can know what to do to act quickly and what to do first. So they can be really helpful in acting swiftly as well. Okay, Miss Robbins is now going to talk to you about a poem.
I'd like to read you this poem about assumptions. All that withers isn't old. Never trust the things you're told. All that's broken isn't bad. All that's unspoken isn't sad. What you're seeing isn't me. Me, I wouldn't have you see. Stop assuming. Just be still, watch again, and see you will. And we make assumptions about all kinds of things. And in the moment, those decisions can affect the way we perceive the world around us and the people that we meet and come across. So this poem is about just taking a moment to reflect, observe what's going on, and question what you're seeing and think rather than assuming in the moment. Ms Hart's going to talk to you about some of the positives now.
Thank you, Miss Robbins. Yes, certainly. Assumptions, we always think, well, I often assume that they're negative things, but let's flip it round and think about, okay, the opposite of assuming could be being curious, and being curious is a great thing to be. It's good to relate to the importance, of us questioning and being open-minded in learning and in life, making sure that, we are kind of questioning people, asking grown-ups, asking our friends more information. So we're not just sitting with the information we think we know it all. I would like to share a little clip with you, first of all, from a company about assumptions that I think will help us.
Are you seriously considering her as a candidate?
Don't trust her.
She's a woman.
She's a woman.
This is a man's job. She's clearly not educated.
Hey, don't even speak English.
That's not me. I'm not like that. You call it an honest mistake. Science calls it a blind spot. Our unconscious mind is a mysterious and powerful thing. It makes 90% of our decisions without us even knowing it. Our brains are overloaded with 11 million pieces of information every second. Yet we can only process about 40 of them. So we're wired to make cognitive shortcuts, using past experiences to make assumptions. And you know what happens when we assume. Our unconscious mind can put us on autopilot, determining where we sit, who we eat lunch with, who we turn to for advice, and who we choose to offer a helping hand. Living our lives with blind spots can put us in a tunnel. Same point of view, same decisions, same outcomes. We can find ourselves trapped in the land of snap judgments and misconceptions. We've all been on both the giving and receiving end of blind spots. Think about it. Who's talented? Who's able? Who can I trust? Who belongs? We've all been there. Blind spots are part of the human condition. Our choices have consequences for us and the people we interact with. By accepting that blind spots exist, we can stop. Imagine what possibilities exist if we could do it all over again. Different perspectives, inclusive relationships, diverse networks, better outcomes.
And I'm going to stop the video there because I think that illustrates the point enough that actually if we recognize our blind spot, know that it exists and try to do our best to erase it, and we can do that by asking more questions of people rather than starting sentences with statements about our beliefs. Find out about people, find out about life more.
I'd like to start by reading a quote. "When you judge me without knowing me, you do not define me, you define yourself." So as we saw in the video about blind spots occur because they're based on past experience, and that's limiting. When we only use our past experience and make assumptions, then we are stopping ourselves from being imaginative, inventive, creative. And we're stopping ourselves from opening up to new things, new relationships, new ideas. So making assumptions or having assumptions is far more damaging to ourselves than to the other people we make assumptions about. And Ms Hart's now going to move on and talk to you about World Book Day.
Okay, more specifically, National Storytelling Week is coming up next week, or it'll be this week for you. And as you can see in front of you, there are a range of books that are out there for young adults to choose from. And the English department are going to talk to you in a minute about some. I really like the icon here for National Storytelling Week because it's someone almost like they're hiding in a book or escaping somewhere in a book. And I think that's what a book can offer. It can offer many things, but to escape into a new world, a new land, a new emotion can be fantastic, or to go on an adventure as this little character seems to be doing. So Ms Robbins is now going to tell us a little bit about making assumptions and the English team.
So our fantastic English department each have chosen a book that they have really enjoyed that they would like to recommend to you. So have a little look at the front covers. Who do you think the book belongs to? Who in the English department might these books be recommended by?
Okay, we'll just give you 10 seconds to have a think about your English teachers, and then we'll do the grand reveal.
Did you get it right? Mine was The Odyssey. I love this story because it's based on Greek myth, and I'm mad about Greek mythology. And this charts the tale of Odysseus returning from the Battle of Troy on the ocean, which is another of my great loves in life.
Hi everyone. The best book I've read recently and one that I really enjoyed is Sweet Sorrow by David Nichols. It's about a boy who was in year 11 the same time I was, so I find it quite nostalgic. And he joins a drama group, a Shakespearean group, in order to impress a girl that he quite fancies. I found it absolutely hilarious, quite bittersweet, and it really took me back to my sort of year 11 days. I found it very enjoyable and highly recommend it for all ages.
They Both Die at the End is one of my favourite stories of recent years. It's the tale of two teenagers who are told that they only have one day left to live. It's a story of life, of loss, of love. It's a story about living a lifetime in a single day and making every single moment count. It's beautifully written. It is heart-wrenching at times. And I don't know a single teenager who wouldn't see and feel their heart on every single page.
Did you get it? Mine was Truth Pixie by Matt Haig. I absolutely adore this story for many reasons. It is really short. It'll take you 20 minutes and it can change your life profoundly. It's about a little girl and how she overcomes grief with the help of the Truth Pixie. It's written in rhyme throughout and it's beautiful to read aloud, although I must admit my voice does break with emotion every time I read it. If you enjoy any Matt Haig books, they're all brilliant. Then another one that you might want to pick up is The Midnight Library, his most recent book. It's fantastic.
Tuesdays with Molly by Mitch Albom. It's an amazing book that I've discovered recently with amazing characters. It's an autobiographical non-fiction book about a young man's relationship with his old teacher, and the teacher who's at the end of his life tries to impart knowledge about what's important and what he should be prioritising, and sometimes some of the things that the author thought were important, actually, when he listened to his elders and he listened to people that had a longer life than he had, he understood what he should be prioritising and what the real important values in life were. It's a bit of a tearjerker, but I thoroughly recommend everybody to read it.
And Miss Jones recommends Little Fires Everywhere, which is a riveting novel that traces the intertwined fates of the picture-perfect Richardson family and the enigmatic mother and daughter who end up upending their lives.
The book that I would like to recommend is The Immortalist by Chloe Benjamin. It's set in 1969 and follows the 4 stories of the Gold Children, who visit a fortune teller as children, who tells them the date that each of them are going to die. And it raises questions about how best to live our lives and what's important in life. Hope you enjoy.
Eragon is one of my favourite novels of all time. It's the first fantasy book I read, which really got me into the genre. It's all about magic, dragons, spell casting, the pursuit of what's right and what's wrong, and it's absolutely wonderful. Thoroughly recommend.
Okay, so if you're interested in any of those books that your teachers have spoken to you about, then please ask them for more details or ask your parents to help you locate them. The last thing we just wanted to kind of ask you to consider is think about when will your story begin and what will your story begin with? Remember, everyone has inside them at least one story. It exists in the very air around you. Your story is the one you know best, and as it is only the beginning, the stories you will tell might begin with. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.